Despite Elizabeth Strafford, Michelle Randolph, and Jack Dutton, Darren Mann, reconciling in 1923 Season 2, Episode 4, it's more important than ever that Elizabeth leaves the Yellowstone Ranch. In Journey the Rivers of Iron, Elizabeth is convinced of her plan to leave the Dutton family and their Yellowstone Ranch behind her for good. Jack's wife is more determined than ever that ranch life isn't for her after a wolf bites Elizabeth's leg in 1923 Season 2, Episode 2, leading to rabies shots in her stomach. However, Journey the Rivers of Iron may have changed her trajectory. In 1923 Season 2, Episode 4, Elizabeth discovers that she's pregnant. While it starts as another miserable day for Bob Strafford's daughter, Elizabeth gets a pep talk from Jacob Dutton, Harrison Ford, which gives the 1923 character the gumption to give herself a rabies shot rather than screaming and thrashing at those who administer it. Elizabeth's brave actions lead to a shocking revelation, when Dr. Miller, Mark Darnary, comes to check on her after a spike in stomach pain, revealing that she's pregnant. However, despite her pregnancy, danger and misfortune orbit Elizabeth and the Dutton Ranch. Elizabeth Strafford should still leave Yellowstone in 1923 Season 2. Baby Dutton is in danger. The war against the Dutton family is still quietly being waged from Donald Whitfield's, Timothy Dalton, mansion. Elizabeth's stay at the Yellowstone Ranch puts her directly in the line of fire in the war. Banner Creighton, Jerome Flynn, plans to enact against the Yellowstone and its stewards. Terrible things happen to Elizabeth Strafford in 1923, with Jack's wife getting shot once already over the fight for the ranch. Ultimately, regardless of her reason, Elizabeth's instinct to leave the Dutton Ranch due to the perilous nature of the winter could have been a life-saving one, and she should trust it. Elizabeth planned to take a train to Boston in about a week. Bob Strafford's daughter is quite familiar with the city, having spent her previous winters there rather than back home on her father's ranch, which sat adjacent to the Yellowstone. 1923 Season 2, Episode 4 teased Elizabeth might flee the ranch and return later, as indicated in her conversation with Jack's uncle, Jacob, wherein Ford's character tells her to reconsider wholly abandoning her family. Now, Elizabeth's baby underscores that Jack's wife isn't safe at the ranch. Still, the unexpected news could cause Elizabeth to stay. Elizabeth could be carrying John Dutton II. John Dutton II is John Dutton III's father. Elizabeth crying in 1923. There's a chance Elizabeth is carrying John Dutton II, in which case, we know her baby survives, perhaps indicating that Elizabeth flees the impending danger inflicted on her new family. John II, Dabney Coleman, is a character introduced in Yellowstone Season 2, Episode 7, in a flashback to John Dutton III's, Kevin Costner, final moments with his father. John Dutton II and III are fourth and fifth generation ranchers, respectively, but Yellowstone screenwriter Taylor Sheridan has yet to reveal how John III and his father relate to the earlier generations of the Dutton family tree. Namely, we don't know John II's parents. 1923 Season 2 is poised to give fans the answer to one of the biggest Yellowstone mysteries. Whoever gave birth to John II can claim to be John Dutton III's grandmother, and Beth, Kelly Riley, and Case's, Luke Grimes, great-great-grandmother. It looks to be that either Spencer or Jack's heritage will eventually lead to John Dutton. However, due to their different generations in the family tree, Spencer's child would have to parent John II, whereas Jack could be John II's father. We know that John Dutton III is a fifth-generation rancher, and the Yellowstone lore must make that add up. Even if Elizabeth leaves Yellowstone, Michelle Randolph isn't exiting 1923 Season 2. Michelle Randolph is a staple of the 1923 cast. Elizabeth Dutton with a gun in 1923 Season 2. While 1923 Season 2, Episode 4, continues setting up Elizabeth Strafford's exit from the Yellowstone Ranch, it doesn't mean that Michelle Randolph is exiting 1923 for good. Randolph is a staple of the 1923 cast from both seasons, and we know that she will ultimately partake in the war for the ranch. In a trailer for 1923 Season 2, images show Elizabeth Strafford huddled within the Dutton family's lodge holding a rifle. The brief slices of scenes suggest that Jack's wife indeed gets caught up in the fight, although it could be after she returns from Boston. There's no mention of Michelle Randolph leaving 1923, so we can be sure Elizabeth will continue to orbit the story. Based on her conversation with Jacob, it's likely Elizabeth will take a break from the ranch, possibly returning when things are heated. While Jack's wife has faltered in her commitment to being with her husband, Elizabeth has a good reason to flee the Yellowstone with a new baby on the way. After Episode 4, it's possible that Elizabeth will compromise, staying at the ranch for now with the promise that Jack will follow her to Boston, if they both survive.